Hello from nowhere. I'm Kurt the gardener. And this here, to some people it looks like dirt. It might look like soil. Depends on how your eyes work, I suppose, and how your mind is wired. But that right there, that is the collaboration and the combination and the applied lessons that I have learned since I came to the Alabama Sinai, or as I call it, Mystic Mountain. Sometimes I miss working on cars. Sometimes I miss fixing cars. I would stand in a car bay where the lift is, and boy, I would look up at that car after I put it up in the air, right before I pulled out transmissions, yanked the motors out or dropped rear ends, or I had to shift to the more intellectual side where I had to use my intellect and my acquired knowledge to cast out and exorcise devils of the mechanical breed and nature. I would tell you this. Most people would go to a store, they would not bother. They would buy potted soil from a bag. And that's fine and good and all for the weekend warrior or the hobbyist or even the enthusiast. But let me tell you something. I have never been light-hearted. I have always been radically fanatic. I could not settle for a bag of dirt. I could not settle for just digging the dirt up from the woods. That was not good enough for me. Everything that has happened since I have arrived here has been purposeful. It has been an act of God. There has been no coincidence or mistake that I am here. When I arrived on Mystic Mountain here, I did not know that I would be making soil. I did not make it. The correct term is I composed and I combined the ingredients that this creation of the Almighty Living God has provided. Let me tell you something. This right here makes life worth living. Let me tell you something. These buckets, I have composed this soil. I might as well use the slang and say I made this soil, even though that's not technically correct as I just explained. But let me tell you something. Walk with me for a minute. Now, I did not study botany. I read lots of books, that is true. The science and the mechanical understanding, it always comes after. For me, at least. After I succeed, then I have to understand why. After something works, then I have to understand why. I walk this world. I do not hunt teachers. I do not hunt masters. I seek God in all things which I do. Let me tell you something. When I started out on this quest, cleared out trees, I come up here and I harvest the ingredients from here. Then I go all the way down there and I harvest the sand and the iron from there. But I harvest the orthoclase crystals and the rocks that become the minerals that feed the plants from here in this forest. I believe that gardening is a very critical and beloved connection to this natural world. We are but strangers in a foreign land for this moment. This is a beautiful place. It is sacred and untouched. Let me tell you something. I refuse the knowledge of human beings unless I consent to that. I consent by reading books and watching videos, that's fine. But when it comes to really important things like how do I make this soil? Well, how did you make the Garden of Eden's soil, Lord? Teach me your ways, God, because I just simply will not accept them from a human being. I say that to say this, that I read books, as I said, and I'm reading a soil science book right now. And a lot of things I've done over the years that this gentleman calls a myth, I'm not going to call him out because he means well, and there's a difference when there's a genuine bad guy that you have to call out and challenge and somebody who just, they mean well. He's correct in his own scientific way, but in practicality, no. Things I have done over the years that have worked fantastically, they work. But this is beautiful. This is the culmination of the acquired knowledge. If you think about it, it doesn't take much in this world. It does not take much in this world to understand how everything works. From cars to electronics to the human body to electricity and everything in between, it follows the same blueprint. I'll use the example of blood here, and I'm going to get off of here because I have to move some of those peppers right there. Been moving them around. That's a wild grapevine, if you're wondering. I'm about to move that to a trellis that I have for it. So, this is the deal. I'm going to use the example of blood really quick to teach you something. Car needs motor oil, it needs transmission fluid, it needs other kinds of lubrication, or else it seizes up and breaks. Well, that's your blood in your body. It flows like electricity flows through a circuit, from negative to positive, but for centuries it was positive to negative, till they knew it was actually negative to positive. Everything in this world has a blueprint. You won't catch it if you have distracted your mind by doing constantly. Your mind needs rest. You have to turn these electronical contraptions off. You have to shut the world out every day for at least an hour. You have to sit in silence, because that's a lot of the problems with this world. A lot of mental illness is springing up simply because people do not rest their mind, and you will short circuit things. You are not a machine, and even machines cannot go infinitely. This is a beautiful place. I'm Kurt the Gardener, and I want to remind you that you are always welcome and nowhere. Have a great day from Mystic Mountain.